time for a special report. Hey, everybody, it's Kyle. Uh, Off to see Dune Part 2. I'm excited, man. I mean, you know, most of the action happens in this part, obviously. If you've ever read the books or even seen the old movie, you know all the shit's getting ready to go down after what we saw in the first film. And it's exciting, you know. I mean, I can't wait to see a few things. Obviously, the sandworms and him riding the sandworms, training with the Fremen, all of that. But of course, you know, the Emperor and his Princess Irulan and Fade Routha. I mean, it's going to be nuts. I'll be curious to see how Austin Butler pulls that one off, because Sting's pretty memorable, but, you know, I think Austin could probably do a better job. We'll see. Hard to say. It would have been cool if it would have been like Bill Skarsgård, but I think you're only allowed to have one Skarsgård per film. I think that's the general rule. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it, man. Very much so. And I got a feeling it's going to be big time. I know I talked to somebody online. There was a guy who went to like a midnight show thing last night. And he dressed up as Baron Harkonnen. He looked really good too. And, you know, I was like, hey man, great cosplay. I cannot wait to go see it today at 3. And he responded back. I don't even know this guy. He responded back. He's like, dude, you are going to love it. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a lot quicker moving. I think what kind of bogs everybody down about the story is there's just so much character development in the first part of the story that there's not a lot of action taking place. And if I know anything about moviegoers, they need action quickly. Our attention spans just aren't long enough for something like that, which is interesting because I also saw The Batman a couple years ago. And I got to say, man, that movie, even though it was like 3 hours long, I never ever was like, God, this movie's taking forever. I literally felt like, did I just say literally? All right, I did. Go ahead. Penalize me. But I felt like it just moved at a brisk pace. And I really liked that film a lot. I can't wait for the next one of those. But yeah, man, Dune, Part 2, man, excited. So much going to happen in this one. Yes, I am going to buy the ridiculous popcorn bucket. My wife just gave me instructions before I left to be sure and get that silly popcorn bucket that looks like the sandworm. so I'll do it. I mean, it's a little crazy, but hey, dude, life's a little crazy. You only live once. Enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. Well, I will come back after I see the film and talk a little bit more about how it was and all that stuff. And yeah, see you guys then.
We call that one Muad'Dib.
All right, and I'm back. Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. I mean, you know I had to get the popcorn bucket, right? You know I had to get the Dune popcorn bucket. All right, so we'll just get on past that. There'll be a picture of it in the notes, in the link to the photos. Wow. If you've read Dune, you're in for a treat. They stick pretty tight to it. And it's beautiful. It is absolutely amazing and astounding and so well executed. I mean, Denis Villeneuve is so in touch with Dune. It's amazing. He's so in touch with it. I know he's making a third film, and thank goodness. You know, it's will be from the next book. But yeah, Dune Messiah, I believe. I can't remember, or Children of Dune. I've read those three, but I think it's Dune Messiah. But anyway, yeah, holy shit, man. It's so well made, and you know what it is about it is the fact that it's just more. I think what they used to do, I mean, and look, I love the David Lynch film. I do. And it's one of my favorites. But it is a separate entity, really. It is based upon the books, but it's different from the book. You know? I mean, kind of think about it this way. Have you ever seen the old Lord of the Rings animated film? Well, it's awesome. I mean, it's beautiful. It's cool as hell. But it's not the Lord of the Rings. I mean, there's more to the Lord of the Rings than that. And, you know, Peter Jackson did a hell of a lot better job splitting it up into three, even though they're overly lengthy. But I get it, man, because if you love the material, you want to do it as much justice as possible, right? So I get it. Well, that's what he does here. This film is outstanding. The first film was outstanding. He sets this up so that the imagery crosses paths with whatever you had in your mind when you read the original material. And it's very rare for someone to be able to do that, to pull that off. I mean, Lord of the Rings is a prime example. Yeah, it's damn close, you know. I mean, there's things that are changed, of course, and there's things that are changed here, of course. However, it's pretty spot on. I'm glad I went and saw it in IMAX. It's very readily apparent that it was shot for IMAX and shot in IMAX. And if you like the first one, you're going to love part two, because so much shit happens and there's just a lot more activity, a lot more stuff going on. You kind of find out so many things. One thing that is revealed in this film that I mean, I knew it, but they never mentioned it in the David Lynch film at all. And it's kind of a shocker, man. It's bizarre. But there it is. You know, I mean, a lot of people are going to shit their pants. That people who've never read the book or the books, they have no idea. They're not going to see that coming, man. It's going to be startling. But it's incredible. It's just so well made. What I like about it is, you know, it's funny because George Lucas brought this up a long time ago when he made THX 1138. You know, it was a student film. He made a short film as a student at USC, and then he later went on to make the full-length feature film THX 1138. If you've not seen it, it's very interesting, you know. But his big thing was that if you're going to present sci-fi and stuff and futuristic stories on film, then it has to be your sets, everything has to look like a used future. You know, you can't just have everything sparkling clean and fancy. It has to look a little beat up and used at times. Now, you're probably going, well, wait, what about the Death Star? Well, the Death Star was pretty new, right? But if you look at other things in that very first film, there's things that, you know, it's not new. There's beat up parts in Star Wars. And the thing that this film does, it takes it to another level. And what it does is it not only is it a used future, because it is in the year 10,000 something or other, but it is more organic in appearance, and it gives you a sense of, even though what they're discussing, what they're using, the tools, everything is so beyond our comprehension, as far as there's zero technology. I mean, some of it is like, when they're in the ornithopters, it is very reminiscent of, if you've ever seen footage of people flying current military helicopters that are advanced, it's like that, right? But obviously more advanced. But there's other stuff in it that just doesn't exist in our world. And they have it, and they use it, but it doesn't look like it's brand new. It looks totally and completely used, and it also looks believable and logical. And that's a remarkable feat to pull off. I mean, I don't even know how you do that. I know he has, a lot of great people working with him to make these films, and the acting is impeccable. Christopher Walken is in this one, and he's great. Florence Pugh's fantastic in it. Man, Austin Butler, holy shit, dude. Fade Routha is, she whiz, man. Wow. Josh Brolin. I mean, it's just Timothy Chalamet. Good Lord. Zendaya. They're so good. They're so amazing. It just really brings the whole story to a point where, even though all these religious of a religion that we have nothing to do with, even though all these religious prophecies and all these things are going on and people are discussing them and all that, you get to where you believe it. You believe what you're seeing. And I mean, obviously it's a movie, so you know that much, but it makes sense that this is Muad'Dib, this is the Kwisatz Haderach, and it just, wow, man. Holy shit. This is the best quality. These two films are the best quality sci-fi films probably ever made. I can't think, short of Blade Runner, and, Blade Runner 2049 also, holy shit, dude, that movie is crazy. And then, after that, as far as world creating and believability and that gritty, organic look and everything, the very first Alien, I mean, what the hell, dude? That movie's amazing, and it is absolutely astounding what it looks like and how it presents itself, and how you take for granted the technology that they're using in it, And that's how this is, and that's a tough thing to pull off. What's kind of like that? Andor, the TV show Andor that was on Disney Plus. It's really the best Star Wars anything that's ever been created. And it's funny because I could have cared less about that character, Cassian Andor. He was not one of my favorite characters in Rogue One. But I will tell you what, that show is amazing. It's beyond any other Star Wars anything that I've ever seen, and I'm happy to say they did mention, I read in an article I read today, that it very well the second season could be releasing by the end of this year, 2024. If not, it'll be early 2025, but it could be the end of this year still, and that's exciting because that is amazing, and I really look forward to that. They call it world building, when they create, these minds get together and they create these worlds. And I mean, really, if you think about it, Star Wars, all that stuff's more complex and complicated only because nothing was ever written. It was all made up by George Lucas, right? I mean, he wrote a screenplay. But, Dune, Frank Herbert's original novels, they had a lot to draw from. But it is interesting to me how some things within it, and I've seen, this version of Dune, I've seen the of course the David Lynch one from 84, 85, and then there's the whole Jodorowsky Dune, the guy who was going to make Dune and ended up getting pretty far in it to the point where they were getting ready to start filming, and they just pulled the plug on it. It was going to be outrageous. I mean, that was in the early 70s, I believe. But if you look at all three of these films, some of the stuff is so different as far as the looks. The looks of the ships in the one from 84 are not the same as the looks of the ships in this, other than the Ornithopter, and there are some of the Imperial ships that show up, in it, that they kind of look the same. And I don't know about Jodorowsky. He was way out there, though. But, yeah, man, the world building based upon the material is incredible. And things that I saw in there are reminiscent of things that I imagined as I read the novel and novels. But it's still a different take, but it makes sense. That's the big thing about it. It's really hard to pull off something that makes sense based upon that material that's so far out there, man. So anyway, that's it, guys. That's all the more I'm going to talk about it. I appreciate you guys listening. Have a great weekend, and I will catch up with you guys next week. Later. Oh, hey, get off my lawn.